हो गया मैम, स्टार्ट कर सकते
Thank you, Rahul. Good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome CA Abhishek Raja on the platform of Educating. You are very welcome, sir. CA Abhishek Rajaram is the senior partner at Abhishek Raja and Associate. He has 17 years of experience in practicing and teaching chartered accountancy and also holds several credentials and certification in the field like FCA, DISA, CCGST, CCIDT, and valuation. He is also a national speaker and author on GST. He has written several books and articles on GST and its importance and implication for businesses and professionals as well. Also delivered numerous seminar and workshop on GST and related topics such as valuation, indirect taxes and compliances. Abhishek's mission is to educate and empower the chartered accountants community and the public on GST and its benefits available to them. Today, Abhishek ji will provide us with the instructions and guidelines on how to submit the first appeal on GST. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, and it is an honor to be on the platform of educating. And with Arun sir, it is a delight to share screen with him. And can I start, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, please.
So appeal, see, when you want to prove something, it goes with two views, or you have to prove two things. First is you can prove it through evidences, which we say on base of merits or facts. The second is with the help of case laws, when we say it as interpretation issues. So we have to choose between these two, or it could be a mix of both. So coming back to this thing that appeals, when we go with the appeals per se, so usually in today's scenario, it would be mix of both. It would not be one. So it would be somewhat what we say uh, a merit case, or based on facts, based on evidence, it could be, and it would be from based on supporting documents. So let us understand how to go forward. See, the appeal is section 107. That is the only one thing which we have to remember. So any person aggrieved with the order of adjudicating authority. So this you could be aggrieved, department could also be aggrieved. You have to file appeal. First appeal, section 107. Form is, see, the beauty of GST is that forms are as per the chapter name. So appeal, APL, it starts with it. Appeal starts with it. So form is APL 01. So you have to file appeal within 3 months of service of order to you. Plus, you have 1 month condonation power. We'll discuss it. What department has to do, we are not going to discuss it. The department can also file appeal in 6 months. So we will go with what is to be done with a normal practitioner appeal, not what department is trying to do. So first thing is, when we read this section, any person aggrieved. So while writing the appeal or while drafting the appeal, first thing we have to write, or let's say it is advisable to write that I am in receipt of this order, or this order has been served to me on this date, And because this order has some financial implications, or it is grossly incorrect, or the decision passed to cancel my registration has stopped me doing my business, or because of this cancellation of this GST registration, I cannot issue an invoice. And because I cannot issue an invoice, I am not able to earn my livelihood, which is allowed as per Article 21 of the Constitution. Or because of cancellation of my GST registration, this goes against the Article 19(1)(g), which gives me fundamental right to trade or right to pursue a profession. So, because I am aggrieved, I am filing this appeal under Section 107. Now, the order could be passed by CGST authority or SGST authority or say UTGST. So, whosoever has passed the order, the proper officer, so you have to file appeal against this to his commission. So, in case it could be joint commission, additional commissioner, or commissioner appeal. See, the states have their own officers who would be listing their own appeals. So, name might vary or designation might vary from state to state. So, let's say in few states, there are only appellate authority, say, let's say additional commissioner, appellate authority, grade 2. So, they will be listing appeals. In few states, it would be joint commissioner, state tax appeal. They would be listing the appeal. The time period is 3 months from said decision or order is communicated to you. Now the issue could be, what does the word communication means? Whether uploading on the portal means the order has been communicated, or it has to be served to you physically, or it could be that order is emailed to you and it would be considered as it has been communicated. See, in regular course of business, when an order is uploaded on the portal, recipient gets an email at the same time and sometimes SMS also that such an order has been uploaded or passed against you. Against this order which has been served to you or communicated to you, you will file an appeal. Section 169 speaks about how this order has to be communicated or how the show cause notice should be communicated. We are not talking about only orders also, of the show cause notice has to be communicated. So if we go see in many cases, this has also been an issue in appeals that my order was not communicated to me, or uh, there are cases where somebody has said that personal hearing was not provided to me, therefore it is violation of principles of natural justice. So before jumping to this, let us understand what does it mean, principles of natural justice and personal hearing. See, when a notice is issued to you, let's say it's under section 73 or 74, you would be provided a time limit to file a reply, to submit a reply. Post submission of reply, you will get the time on a decided date, decided time, where you would be personally meeting the officer and providing details of it. What you want to add on, what you want to explain. See, whatever you have written, that is fine. That has already been brought on record. But other than this, what is on record, you have to explain also. Sometimes department does not provide you personal hearing, which is against principles of natural justice. In fact, in section 75, subsection 4, it has been mentioned that where an officer wants to pass an adverse order against you, it could be reducing your ITC, it could be enhancing your output tax liability, it could be reducing your refund, it could be cancelling your registration. But 75.4 is for demand and recovery. So when there is a demand and recovery and an adverse order has to be passed against you, a personal hearing is must. So department has to provide you personal hearing. Whether you appear on personal hearing or not, you you take the benefit of personal hearing or not, they have to provide. There are few instances where personal hearing was not provided, and when the matter went to the higher courts, court has said no such order cannot be passed. There were cases where, and in 75 it has been said that whenever you request or officer is going to pass a adverse order. So we have to read this separately. See, if you are requesting, then they have to provide. Even if you have not requested and they are going to pass an adverse order against you, then they have to provide you opportunity of being heard. Both are mandatory. So sometimes you might be contesting or filing an appeal on this ground that personal hearing was not provided, or in some cases, ex parte orders have been passed. So you could be contesting an appeal that my ex parte order has been passed. Leave what department will do, we are not going to discuss. Now, see, the statutory limit to file an appeal is 3 months. It is 3 months, not 90 days. It is 3 months. When we come to, there is an exception also that 3 months could be extended to 1 month more. That is condonation of delay. 1 month time is there. So 3 plus 1 month. But 3 month is your statutory limit. 1 month extra is not your statutory limit. It is a subjective one. And subjective means that there should be certain reasons that you need this 1 month extra. If reasons are satisfactory, then only this 1 month can be condoned. Otherwise, appellate authority will reject your condonation if grounds are not satisfactory. So this 1 month, see, never, it's my humble advice to everyone, never think that you have 4 months to file an appeal. No, you have only 3 months. 1 month is a grace period which is always subjected to many terms and conditions. You need to prove that there were genuine reasons why you were not able to file your appeal within 3 months. If you are not able to prove why you were not able to file return, then this 1 month will not be condoned. So it is always subjective. Now, what if I pass 3 plus 1 month? Let's say I have crossed 6 months. Can I file an appeal? Will that be condoned? The answer is no. Now, what if I use the Limitations Act, the Benefit under Limitations Act? Can I use benefits of Limitations Act? The answer is no. Many courts have said this. See, GST is a fiscal statute. It is a code in himself. It is a proper code. Everything has to be done as per the GST laws. So 3 plus 1 month, it's 4 months. Let's say you have reached 6 months. Whatever might be the genuine reasons, whatever, no authority in GST has the power to condone this delay. No appellate authority, whether it is joint commissioner, additional commissioner, even the commissioner also, does not have the power under GST laws to condone the delay beyond 1 month. So who can condone this delay? Right now we don't have a tribunal. So a high court under Article 226 writ can condone the delay. So only high court has the power to condone the delay. But in last 2-3 months, we have seen many judgments of the high court rejecting this beyond 1 month and saying that, or it has been held by the high courts that no, we are not satisfied. We don't have the power. GST is a complete code in themselves, so we are not going to allow you to go beyond 3 plus 1 month deadline. So in future, what I think that it would be extremely difficult or challenging to go beyond this timeline. So how to draft a condonation application? So we would be drafting appeal. Along with appeal, we would be required to file condonation application. Now, see, we all must have studied English as a language in our school days. So everyone had same books, same teachers, same question paper. What about answers? They were same or different? Of course, they were different. What about essays? Let's say you wrote an essay on my best friend or my best friend's marriage. They were different. We learned the art of writing English language through writing essays, but they were different. Same way, appeals or condonation, they all will be different. So your style of writing, my style of writing would always be different. So one might write in a passive language, one might love to write in active language, whatever. But both are right. So writing an appeal, writing a condonation application will always be customized thing. It would be as per your personality. Your personality will be reflecting in this. But let me tell you how we draft a condonation application. Whenever we go with the condonation application, whatever we have written later on, that is different thing. But we write on the table itself that this appeal, well, this order was served on this date on the table, face of the application table. Time period to file an appeal, let's say 3 months, this date. Let's say the order was passed on 30th September. So appeal was to be filed October, November, December. So we will write 3 months. Let's say we have written, okay, appeal should have been filed by 31st December 2023. Actual appeal has been filed on, let's say, 5th of January. Delay 5 days. Next line. Power to condone delay, 1 month. So by when it could be condoned? 31st January 2024. Actual appeal was filed 5th of January 2024. Within time limit under section 107? Yes. So when we meet officer, when we say them, sir, so we don't want them to waste their time, their energy in searching all these things. So it is very simple for them. Okay, appeal was to be filed on by 31st December. Appeal was filed on 5th. Delay of 5 days. My power to condone delay 1 month. So this is within my time limit. Okay. But whenever our appeals get delayed, let's say we have filed on 5th, but we ensure that 10% pre-deposit is made within the period of 3 months. It's not that on 5th of January we would be going to pay that 10%. No. We always ensure that 10% pre-deposit is paid before completion of 3 months. So in one paragraph, we also write this, that we had made pre-deposit of the mandatory 10%, which we'll be discussing in text slide, before 31st December. Therefore, we had proved that we had intent to file our return, file our appeal. But because whatever has happened, the situation was beyond our control. That is why we were not able to file this, and therefore the delay is of 5 days. See, when we had filed first appeal in 2022, and in one of the case, when the pre-deposit was made after, let's say, 31st December, let's say the pre-deposit was made on 5th of January. So because there was a delay of 5 days, we had paid interest on those 5 days also. So that time the interest was around 100 or something, 120 odd rupees. But we had paid the interest on that because we were of the view that the time period to condone delay is of 1 month, but there is no time period to delay pre-deposit of 10%. That should have been paid in 3 months. So this is very extreme case, but as interest is always in a compensatory nature, and if you are filing a appeal for a high amount, it is always recommended that you should pay interest on that, so that tomorrow department does not have the view to say that pre-deposit was not made within 3 months. That is for the extreme cases which I am saying, if the amount is substantial amount. But in routine cases, let's say the appeal is of say uh, 1 crore rupees, so you had paid 10%, that is around 10 lakh rupees. So again, if a delay is of 1 week or something, the department not going to ask you interest. Okay. Then appeal has to be filed in form APL01. That has been the prescribed form. So let's say there is an order of 10 lakh rupees. Now, out of this 10 lakh, you agree with the liability of 4 lakh rupees. You agree with the liability of 4 lakh rupees. Remaining 6, out of this remaining 6, let's say 3 lakh rupees is disputed tax liability, and remaining 3 lakh is your interest and penalty. So whatever is the disputed amount, you have to pay 10% of the disputed amount as pre-deposit. But whatever is the admitted tax, you have to pay 100% of it. Let's say in this case, so undistributed amount is out of 10 lakh, it is of 4 lakh. So you will pay full 4 lakh. 3 lakh is disputed tax. So you will pay 10% of that disputed tax, which would be paid in the relevant head in which the demand is there. Let's say the demand is of IGST, then you will pay 10,000, oh, sorry, 30,000 in IGST. Let's say the demand is of CGST and SGST, then in whatever proportion that demand is, you will pay that. Usually CGST, SGST demand might come in 50-50. What about interest and penalty? See, interest and penalty does not have any independent standing. Interest and penalties does not have any independent standing. Therefore, you would not be paying anything on that. And it would be automatically stayed. You need not to file stay application in GST laws. That is in income tax. Where you file appeal, you also file an application for stay. But you need not to file stay application in GST laws. Okay. Now coming back to this thing, what we say, GST laws. Okay. Maximum amount which has to be deposited. See, let's say there's a huge amount of liability. So maximum amount is 50 crore rupees, 25 CGST, 25 SGST. Now, if the order has been passed under section 129, subsection 3, and you have got your goods and conveyance release on the basis of bank guarantee, usually they don't allow you. In normal circumstances, you pay 100% of what has been demanded by them, and then you get your conveyance and goods released. But let's say you have got it on the bank guarantee, then you have to pay 25% equal to the amount pay, liability. But again, that upper cap is of 50 crore rupees, 25 plus 25. So this is the subsection which says that automatically it would be stayed. Then, as we say about principles of natural justice, whatever reply you have submitted, that would be understood by the authority and they will provide you opportunity of being heard. That, let's say, in person hearing, or you can take as online hearing also. In person is better, which I feel. In person, you go visit them and explain them whatever you want to. And then you should always remember that you have to sign the note sheet that you have visited, you have discussed this, and whatever you have submitted, you should request the authority to please write this. Usually, what I have seen that authorities don't write elaborate what has happened on the person hearing. Rather, they write it that advocate Abhishek Rajaram or chartered accountant Abhishek Rajaram or authorized representative Mr. Abhishek Rajaram has visited and read his submission in person hearing. No, it's not that. You should ask them to write a detailed note what you have discussed. There could be new fact findings in this. But trust me, guys, it is extremely difficult to get something changed in the note sheet. Department has same habits of writing in that way. Okay. Now, If you were not available on that personal hearing or due to certain reasons you were not able to read, then you can request for adjournment. Both parties can request for maximum 3 adjournments. Both parties means see, you are in dispute with the proper officer. Once you file an appeal, you are in dispute with the proper officer. That is why uh, 3 copies are made for appellate. When we file appeal, we file first copy with the commissioner, we file 1 copy with the proper officer. And in few states, once you go and submit this application that you are filing an appeal, so there is a procedure where you submit them and they will issue you a receipt that we have received a copy of appeal, and you attach that copy of that receipt with the appeal commission. So with the receipt, they charge you 100 rupees or 250 rupees. So you have to get that receipt with them and you have to submit your appeal with the commissioner appeal or let's say additional commissioner appeal with that receipt also. So along with normal copies, so what you do, 3 out of 3 copies, 1 copy is filed with the proper officer, 1 copy is filed with the additional commissioner appeal, and 1 copy is your copy. So we'll get office copy OC signed on that, and then so law says maximum 3 adjournment per party. No such adjournment shall be granted more than 3 times to a party during hearing of the appeal. Trust me, friends, I in person do not agree with this line. I am of the personal opinion, it's my personal opinion, I am of the opinion that if there are genuine reasons, then fourth, fifth, sixth, even 10th adjournment should be provided. This proviso to subsection 9 of section 107, this should be not strictly implemented, this should not be understood verbatically, but this should be used as overall guidance. And I'm not sure that whether this proviso might be challenged sometime later or not. But I believe that this restriction or such a restriction of restricting adjournment to maximum 3 is not good in the law. This should be challenged, and I believe would be challenged one day. See, usually whatever grounds you have taken in your first reply to notices, you have to continue with the same. You have to continue with the same. But that does not mean that you cannot add fresh grounds in appellate matters. And these are called additional grounds. So first, whatever you have submitted in routine course, you will be, whatever you have replied to your first notice, say you had received DRC01, you had replied in DRC06. So whatever grounds you have taken in DRC6, that would be copied. Now, whatever new ground you want to take, that would become an additional ground. Let's say when you filed a reply for DRC, when you filed DRC06, there was no judgment of DY agencies. Let's say the dispute is of CGST, IGST, or there was no judgment of Hina Medicals, Meena Basar. Now you have these 3 judgments, which has come in last couple of months. Now, when you are filing this appeal, you can take shelter of these judgments, but these will be your addition. Usually, first appellate authority does not restrict you to add fresh grounds of appeal. They do not restrict you. That does not mean that they will allow you in each and every case. So you have to justify it, that why these grounds were not presented before adjudicating officer or the proper officer. Why you need a fresh ground? So this question why can be challenged, or this question why can haunt you. But in routine matters, department does not object. Now, in old laws, IDT laws, let's say Service 6, department has the power, or first appellate authority has the power to remand the case back to the adjudicating officer. So what used to happen, even after hearing fresh case in totality.
Excuse me, अभिषेक जी, sorry for interrupting you. लेकिन आपके
Yes,
स्क्रीन जो है ना वो शायद अटक गई है, वो सेक्शन 107 ही अपीयर हो रहा है अभी स्क्रीन पर।
मैडम, सबसेक्शन 11 चल रहा है नहीं?
हाँ, अभी सब सेक्शन 11 चल।
हाँ, तो वो सेक्शन 107 ही चल रहा है शुरू से। जब हम यहाँ पर थे, we were discussing additional grounds,
My bad, sir.
and when we were here, we were discussing hearings, reasons to record,
Yeah.
adjournment.
Yes, sir. Subsection
So-
11 चल
so-
रहा है. It's okay.
हाँ, तो वो ऊपर section, so the section will remain same, subsection will keep on
Yeah,
changing.
yeah, I got this.
Okay. So what used to happen in service tax laws? So department or the first appellate authority has heard whole case, पूरा केस सुन लिया, so they have heard full case, but rather than giving you relief, they remanded back the case. Now this was a problem. Why you are remanding the case? Why? You should not remand the case. You should pass a order. But as they had the power in service tax laws, even after explaining everything, after visiting them, after submitting reply, after providing them all sort of information, they simply pass a remand back off. And this was a problem. This was a challenge. So in GST law, this is good thing which they have done, that they have removed the power, or let's say it's otherwise, they have not given the power to the appellate authority to remand the case back. Now, the authorities are bound, first appellate authority is bound to pass an order, whatever they consider, whether they can increase your liability, they can reduce your liability, they can quash the order, they can add fresh grounds also. But for that, they need to give a fresh order, they have to give time. Now, in Guwahati High Court, what has happened? There are a couple of cases pending where the matter has gone. See what happened in those cases. The first appellate authority, the proper officer did not provided opportunity of being heard. Matter has reached High Court. Now, the first appellate authority, Joint Commissioner gave them opportunity of being heard. They said, no, we should have been provided opportunity of being by the proper officer. You don't have the power to provide opportunity of being heard for which proper officer has not provided me. You can give me personal hearing and opportunity of being heard before you as it is needed for you, not what was required before proper officer. So this is a matter of controversy and dispute whether the first appellate authority has this power or not. So again, when they have to pass an order, they have to provide you personal hearing, which is as per principles of natural justice. Now, whenever they have to give pass an order, so this is very important thing, that order should be a speaking order. So in fact, if you want to learn drafting also, so um, there are books for judicial exams, how to draft an order or how to write an order. This is used in PCSJ also. So you can read this book. There are many books, and with these books you can get more clarity how the order should look like. So again, the order should be drafted in this way, that first, what was the original order? Then why this party has come? What submissions, what grounds they had given, which were not considered by the proper officer. Now, what additional ground they have considered. Then a conclusion on all these grounds, and what is the view of the officer, view of the appellate authority. Then you have to conclude with your own views. And once you conclude, then after that you have to quantify that amount, if it's a 73, 74 order, or if it is refund rejection order. But if it is a appellate order for restoration of GST registration, then there might not be any what we say computation or amount to be quantified. So this has to be done. So the recommendatory guideline is that appellate authority should pass an order within 1 year. But this is the recommendatory guideline. See, the appellate authority works as a quasi-judicial authority. And you can never provide a timeline on quasi-judicial authority. Timelines can only work with the executive machinery. So they are bound. Let's say in 73, they have to pass an order and serve to you within 36 months, means 3 years from the date of annual return, or if it is extended. And for 74, the fraud cases, that is 5 years, minus 3 months for service of notice in 73, minus 6 months for service of notice in 74. So the executive machinery, you can force them to pass an order, or you can give a clear cut deadlines, but the deadlines can never be provided to quasi judicial authority. And first appellate authority 107 is a quasi judicial authority. So after disposal, they will send this order copy to appellant, respondent, and the adjudicating authority. So everyone would, and then you can appeal in tribunal. Of course, we don't have a tribunal right now. Yes, we have. Now let's come back to, see, this is what we have to discuss. Let's understand. We come back to this thing later on. Let us do some drafting work, and then we will come back to this PPT again. I hope the Word file is visible. So as I discussed earlier, see, everyone wrote a different essay. Of course, when it is of my best friend, so everyone has a different best friend. So that's why the essay could have been different. But otherwise also, everyone had a different essay. Similarly, whenever, see, in the same order, if you are drafting appeal and if I have to draft an appeal, it would be somewhat different, even on the same grounds. So no style is good, no style is bad. Never try to copy someone else's style. It's you which has a unique style. So first I told you we have to explain first paragraph that I have received an order or I had been served an order under section 73 on 31st of December 2023 or 30th December 2023. This order has been served to me through GST portal. The intimation of the order has been provided to me through email. This email was served to me on this causing a financial burden. That's why I am aggrieved. Or I had submitted my reply and the order was passed without considering my reply. Or I had requested an adjournment was not provided to me. Or I had requested for a different date of personal hearing and personal hearing was not provided to me. Let's say a notice was served to you on 28th of September 2023. Date of personal hearing was given 10th of October and last date to submit reply was 28th of September. Oh, sorry, 28th of October. Now, if we go with these timelines, so the personal hearing on 10th of October is of no use. It's a futile exercise. See, because when personal hearing is on 10th of October and the last date to submit reply is 28th of October. So on 10th of October, what you will, even if you visit to the department and you meet the officer, what you will say, what you will argue in the case. So you will always end up saying that, sir, we will file our reply by 28th of October. So the officer will say, okay, please sign it. Please sign it. Personal hearing is gone. Let's say by 27th October you had filed an reply. On 4th December order is passed. No further hearing is provided. So the law says, the law says that personal hearing is mandatory whenever there is a negative order that has to be provided. That has to be provided. But was it provided in the correct way? So this becomes a technical question. And trust me, friends, you can take benefit of personal hearing only and only when you have brought objections on record. See, objections on record comes through filing of the reply. If you have not filed your reply, then if before filing of reply, if there is a personal hearing, so that personal hearing is not going to help you. Okay? Then right to appeal. See, we all know that right has to be provided in the law itself. Unless law provides you the right to appeal, you cannot file an. Okay? And in GST section 107, along with their rules, provide you the right. Timelines 107. Oh, sorry. Sorry. 3 months plus 1 month condonation. See, whenever you are filing a late application, condonation application, you should always try to explain the authorities that delaying application or delaying appeal is not going to benefit me. Because I always carry a risk of rejection of my application, not on merit, but on base of timelines, limitation of time. So form APL01 pre-deposit 10%, 129, 25%. Now there was in few cases, department has objected payment of 10%, the pre-deposit amount, through utilization of ITC. See, department was of the view that um, this 10% of pre-deposit should be through deposit of cash, vis-a-vis. Assessee is of the view that ITC is equivalent to cash. This is my own money. I can pre-deposit through ITC. So in few cases, appeals were rejected, matter went to high courts, and pre-deposit could be made through ITC. Was this first time this order came from, or judgment came from, Bombay High Court in case of Omax Reality or something like that. In fact, last year, GST appeal amnesty was provided by the government, which was valid up to 31st of January 2024, against orders for pass against 73, 74 rejected on basis of timelines. In this case, the pre-deposit was not 10%, it was enhanced to 12.5%. And out of 12.5%, 20% of that amount was to be deposited mandatorily in cash. This means that 2.5% should be in cash and mandatory in cash, and for the remaining 10% out of 12.5%, it could be either in cash or through utilization of ITC. So if we understand everything, then department or the government has already accepted. In principle, there is an acceptance that 10% of the pre-deposit amount could be from utilization of ITC. Now we come to drafting of appeal and presenting what we want. Let's come back to our PPT here. And see, whenever we, let us understand. See, once we receive a notice, I'm not discussing, see, at appellate level, the dispute are crystallized, objections are framed. But when we go with the notice per se, so notice might be having 10 types of issue. So on those all 10 type of issues, whatever allegation the department is levying in the notice itself, we have to divide them. Whether this issue is based on fact or an opinion. So opinion means there is an interpretation issue. There is a whatever is written in the law, two positions are possible. Yes, no, you have to bifurcate them. Then do they have any supporting evidence with them? Then what we want to accept, whether we want to accept it or not. If we want to accept it, pay the amount, file DRC-03. If we want to reject it, whether we want to reject it on basis of facts or on basis of law. See, usually it has been said that you should marshal the facts, marshalling the facts. If we are If we don't agree with any position the department has taken against us, or they have come with allegations against us, if we want to challenge it on basis of facts, then it could be different thing. If we want to challenge it on the basis of law, then it could be altogether different thing. And if it is based on, let's say, if it is based on facts, then we might not need much of the energy. But if it is based on law, then we would be required to do. Let's say it has been written taxpayer is a company. This is a fact. Taxpayer is registered. Again, it is a fact. Now they say taxpayer is a trader. Could be wrong. Taxpayer would be a manufacturer or reseller. See, I had received a notice one of the cases which we have seen. The party was a work contractor. Party was a work contractor, and in the notice they had written that party is a wholesale trader. In they have mentioned the goods also. So this was a fact, incorrect fact. Now, if they say that you have not discharged correct tax liability, or they say that you have claimed extra ITC, so this is not a fact. This is their opinion. You might have received notices, or you might have seen notices where they have said that, okay, you had paid IGST instead of CGST, SGST, or you had claimed ITC um, as CGST, SGST, vis-a-vis it was an IGST receipt. The claim of ITC was on IGST, vis-a-vis you have claimed CGST, SGST. So these are not facts, but interpretational issues. See, this is my own timeline, how I spend my time. When I get a notice or an order, whatever time period in totality I have to use, 10% of the timeline goes to reading the notice. Then bifurcating these in basis of facts, opinions, and what were the timeline. Double time goes with this. Finalizing these, what was the due date? Then researching the case laws, just double time. And lesser timeline to write what I have researched. Let's say during my research, I found 10 case laws on which I am disputing. 4 are in my favor, 6 are against me. How many should I quote? In my reply, I repeat, I have found 10 case laws. 4 are in my favor, 6 are against me. How many should I quote? So if your answer is only 4 or less than 4, then I do not agree with it. I reserve the right to be wrong. First and foremost, I will quote all those 6 case laws which are against me. And after quoting this, I will write that the facts provided in these case laws and the facts in my case distinguish with them. So my first job is not to claim relief, but to write those 6 case laws which are against me and then distinguish them with the case laws, with the facts. and say that these 6 case laws does not apply on me. So what is the benefit of this? The first and foremost benefit of this is once we quote all 6 case laws which are against me, the department also knew or department also has the knowledge of all these 6 case laws. And if I do not distinguish them, then department will use all the 6 case laws against me. So my first job is to reduce or make the department defenseless. Then comes with 4 case laws. And in all those 4 case laws, I will read all 4 case laws and then copy paste. When I will do copy paste, then I will quote the relevant paragraph. That in para 17, I will copy that Reliance is, let's say, I will write like this: Reliance is placed on the judgment of Honorable Allahabad High Court in A versus State of Uttar Pradesh. Read this and then dated this. In paragraph 17, it was held. Then I will quote paragraph 17. Now, when I will give the paper book, when I will submit the paper book, what I will do? First, I will write index. We will do paper numbering, then index. At end of it, I will annex the judgment, whole judgment. And in that judgment, when I will go to the paragraph 17 of that judgment, I will spend 1 more minute and highlight the paragraph 17 and use a pasted notes. I will write it that this is paragraph O, the judgment and para 17 of this judgment on the pasted notes. So when this file they actually come before the appellate authorities, they don't need to spend much of their time and they can easily find what they need. Okay. Then we will come to draft. So this was, but see, you need not to spend so much of the time in this way when you are drafting an appeal. So while drafting an appeal, you might be having all those details and see the issue has been crystallized. So once you come with the first paragraph that why you are aggrieved, then you will provide detail. There's a table, trademark, trade name, legal name, everything. Then you come to the point of grounds of appeal and facts. So you should provide facts which are easy to understood in that language. If you can use a flowchart type of thing, or you can provide the correct timeline, what has happened on which day, that will help you. Then, on what ground you want to challenge the order passed by the proper officer? So why you want to challenge? Just because you are aggrieved or you have a financial burden on it due to this order, you cannot go and challenge the order. There should be substantial reason for challenging the original order. So that reason could be, could vary, and this you have to prove. What are the reasons? So then the reason could be, the reason could be that you are not happy with this because you have a case loss in your favor and department has not accepted it. Department has not accepted it. Or see the issue or the dispute between you two would be let's say, department said that the liability should be in CGST SGST. Department is of opinion that this liability should be CGST SGST. Cases of 2017-18. You explained to them, no, sir, this was the case of IGS. The supply was made through bill to ship to model, but e-way bill was not there in 17-18. Let's say from Delhi, I'm in Delhi, I got an order from Jaipur. Now my supplier was in Jodhpur. Rather than bringing those goods from Jodhpur to Delhi and then using again our transportation costs, I asked my Jodhpur supplier to move those goods to Jaipur. But in 17-18, there was no e-way bill. E-way bill was started in 2018. Now, officer is of the view that these were because the movement of goods was from Jodhpur to Jaipur, it should be CGST and SGST. Now you have to make a flowchart, explain everything, and you have to annex all copies of bill also. That why there was a moment I had placed the order, you could submit your purchase order copy, the invoice issued by that party. Then only it could be. So writing skills becomes very important. Along with the writing skills, there is a problem. What about the reading skills? See, writing skills are mine. What about the reading skill of the officer? And this is a bigger challenge in faceless assessment. See, there are few things. There are few things which can be understood as explained in person. So writing a 10 paragraph might not help it. A single line in one-to-one connect, one-to-one meeting is good enough. It's good enough. So, but this is missing in faceless assessment. This is still there in GST because it is still not faceless. And this could be a problem in later years. But right now, we should take benefit of it. While framing the argument, you should not discuss 10 different things which are not relevant to your case or which are relevant for overall GST. That the GSTR2 is not provided, this is not provided, there has been so many changes, this and that. No. What you should do? You should stay to your topic, stay to your discussion. You should be polite enough while writing appeal. You can raise your argument without raising your voice. You can raise your argument without being abusive, without criticizing the system, without criticizing the department, without criticizing the proper officer. You have to draft your argument. You have to be extremely polite in your words, in person. You have to give respect to the chair. Do not try to engage in other type of things or saying bad words about any officer, any other person, or your client, or anyone. Stay within your limits. Be humble, be polite, be a good gentleman. Same thing should flow in your appeal itself. Should be crystal clear, clearly worded. The flow should be that end of it, someone is able to understand what has happened, what was the issue, what were your argument, what was department view, and why the order has been passed, and now why you are aggrieved, what additional difference you have. You might be having few new case laws. You might have found some landmark case laws from previous era. Let's say you have come with uh, case laws from, say, service tax era or VAT era. So service tax or VAT is not, GST is not old wine in new bottle. So once you are using case laws from earlier regime, you have to draw a parallel that why that case law, which was passed in that, which was passed in those days, is still relevant. Okay, got it? Now, signature. Who has to sign on the appeal? Of course, the person who has to sign, the relevant person, who is the authorized representative or who is the proprietor. Let's say the case is of corporate entity, maybe private limited or limited. It is always advisable that while signing special power of attorney or wakalatnama, you should also take a board resolution authorizing one person from their company, maybe the director, to file all the appeal in this case, and authorizing that person to give you power of attorney, special power of attorney for handling these matters. So these should be provided, these should be notarized uh, or proper stamp duty should be paid. This may vary when you are dealing with the state one. Then we have discussed you should go and file copy of it. See, as a good practice, in 99% case, I personally go and give the copy of the appeal to the proper officer myself. Till date, 99% cases, I personally visit the officer. I personally give them. See, because tomorrow you are going to fight with that officer. Technically, you are going to fight against this officer. See, they don't come to the hearing in first appeal. That is a different matter. But technically, you are fighting with that officer. You should always have a good rep with that officer. When we go and visit the officer and we say, sir, ये आपने ऑर्डर पास करा था, सॉरी फॉर बीइंग इन हिंदी, कि सर आपने ये ऑर्डर पास करा था और आपसे तो हमारी बात हुई थी कि सर ये जो इश्यूज हैं ये आपने कहा था कि साहब इंटरनल गाइडलाइन है, आप तो रिलीफ दे नहीं सकते, पर आपने खुद ही हमें एडवाइस करा था कि साहब आपको अपील में तो रिलीफ मिल जाएगा। तो सर आपकी एडवाइस के बेस पर हमने ये अपील फाइल करी है, और सर इसमें कोई चीज रह गई हो तो प्लीज बता भी देना, कोई गलती रह गई हो, कोई सुधार की गुंजाइश हो तो बता भी देना। सी इवन दैट गाय इज नॉट गोइंग टू रीड योर अपील, leave alone any suggestion which is going to, no, they is not going to give you any suggestion, he is not going to read your appeal, but it is a courtesy call which you have to manage with the guy. See, you had filed an appeal. See, very smartly what you have done, you had filed appeal against his order, and you have given all the blame or credit to that guy himself. You have said, sir, आपने ही तो हमें गाइड करा था, आपने तो कहा था कि अपील कर दो, रिलीफ आपको ऊपर तो मिल ही जाएगी। सो एज पर योर एडवाइस आई हैड फाइल्ड दिस अपील। Meet the officer. See, tomorrow you would be visiting that officer in some other case. or let's say for next year, next assessment year, for this client with the same client again, he is still the same officer, even if you have gone to appeal against him. Then I will discuss stay application not needed. Paper book, always spend time in drafting the paper. This is one of the most important aspect of the appeal, which I have told you that numbering should be there, paste in notes should be, if it is good, if you can have small paste in notes, colorful one, explaining everything. If you can highlight the actual paragraph, that helps you. Then after submitting this, prepare synopsis. A 1 page or 2 page handy synopsis will help you. Then it's an art or science. It's mix of both, but more of a art. This is more of art. Drafting is always an art. See, Arunji has written a good book on ITC, how to handle notices, and I think he's coming with the second edition also. So once you read any draft reply, which there are so many in Arun Sir's book, so there are so many draft replies. Once you go through it, and once you are using for your own client, so that is available in his book. You can get it typed. But will you use the same draft, or it will remain same? No, you will definitely customize it. First, because the case facts would be different. Second, your style of writing would be different. Plus, the engagement level which you want. Plus, the book is almost eight, I think, 10 months or 1 year old book. In this 1 year, you might have got few new judgments which you would be trying to use it. So that will make it a difference. Okay. So the science part is analyzing laws, regulations, but writing, drafting is a creative world, and that would vary. So on the same issue, same thing, you might write a different thing, Arun sir would write a different thing, I might write altogether a different thing. But all three are correct. All three are correct. So this is once you write grounds of appeal, you should always copy paste the relevant act or rules or notification or something like that. Once you copy paste the act, so the act which was on that day or that year needs to be copy pasted. That does not mean that today's act you would be copy pasting it. No, if there is a change today, then you have to copy paste what was that day act when this has been. If the grounds of appeal, if you can link your facts with the legal issues, if you can give a crystal clear explanation that what are the facts, what are the legal issues, and how this has impacted, then it is. Last, once you are drafting and concluding the appeal, you are at end of the appeal. You are writing the prayer. Now, while writing the prayer, you have to be very cautious. So let's say you had requested for 5 reliefs. So in prayer, don't just leave it. Write all 5 different requests. Write 5 different paragraphs or 5 different lines. So I am requesting one, this, second, this, third, this, fourth, this. You have to write this in 4 or 5 different paragraphs. If it is 5 relief, then 5 different lines, 5 different paragraphs. If there are 10 reliefs you are seeking, then it has to be 10. See, in court cannot provide you relief which you have not requested. So in one of the cases, the matter is pending before Bombay High Court, where a relief was not requested. Court wanted to give this relief. Department has argued that this relief has not been requested in the petition. Therefore, court cannot provide this relief. One more thing. Once you have written all 5 points, sixth point, you should write like this: that I request to provide me relief, whatever appellate authority or the court consider it fit. I would further request to provide me relief of any case law or any judgment which the appellate authority or the court knows best to their knowledge, which can provide me relief. See, it's a law that if court knows any judgment which you have not quoted, and the court knows that there is a judgment which can provide you relief, then because court is to provide you justice, court has to use or provide you relief of that case law which you have not quoted. So the court is duty bound. But again, to seek this relief, there should be a specific line where you have requested the court or the judicial authority to provide you relief as per best to their knowledge. And if in their knowledge they have certain case laws, then they have to provide. Okay. Let's come back to what are the issues which are usually going on and how you have to draft or how you have to argue them. See, the September notices for 1780, the order for which has been passed or which have been passed in December or before 31st of December. There, one of the contagious issues was use of cement, steel, sand, granite, etc., where notice has been issued or the order is passed on the basis of HSN, where department felt that the ITC on this is not allowed. So the issue was construction of immovable property, which we all know ITC is not allowed unless you are dealer in it. But what about repair and maintenance on immovable property? That is a revenue expenditure, ITC is allowed. What about steel, cement, sand used for foundation of plant and machinery that has been capitalized to your books of account? Sorry, capitalized to balance sheet. So ITC is allowed on this also. Next is ITC on motor vehicle. So if you have bought a car for your directors, partners, ITC is not allowed. But if you are dealer in this, ITC is allowed. Or if you are GTA, then also ITC is allowed. So if an order has been passed against you and you are drafting appeal or you are drafting a reply letter to the show cause notice which has come to you, so you have to explain this. See, case laws are not going to help you when the facts are clear. So in these cases, you do not need any supporting case laws. These are fact-based issues. Let's say the issue is of GSTR versus 2A. So we have got circular 183, 193 for 17, 18, 18, 19. For 19, 20, we have got. So we can use that. We can claim relief on that. But in those cases, you have to submit all the documents. But what about the cases? Where registration of vendor has been cancelled retrospectively. Now, if we go with this, we have so many judgments in this. Now, how to frame an argument for this? You are in appeal. Order has been passed against you. Now you are asked to reverse the ITC liability and deposit it along with interest and penalty. For ITC, you have claimed for vendor registration cancelled retrospectively. Now the issue is this. So how you will handle it? Now, this issue cannot be solved on basis of facts. Of course, facts are against you. You had claimed a purchase, you have claimed a supply. Later on, due to certain reasons, registration of your vendor has been cancelled retrospectively. The complications are, let's say, you had made a purchase in 1718. The vendor registration was cancelled in June 2023 fake registration drive. And now the registration stands cancelled from 1st of July 2017. Now, how to handle this? See, facts are not in your favor. Case laws are altogether not in your favor. See, there are mix of case laws which are in your favor, which are in favor of the department. So how to handle this? So now you have to carefully draft your appeal. You can use Sanchita Kundu. Now in this Sanchita Kundu case, ITC was denied because registration of supplier to Miss Sanchita Kundu were found to be uh, cancelled with retrospective effect. So Sanchita Kundu argued that the notice and the order does not levy allegation of collusion between Sanchita Kundu and the supplier. So there was no allegation of connivance and collusion between the recipient and the supplier. She also said that all transactions were made through banking channel. Of course, everyone has done these transactions in banking channel. She said that when I claimed the ITC, that ITC was visible in GSTR 2A, and the condition with section 16 says that ITC should be visible in GSTR 2A, and department has not contradicted this. See, the facts are same, but how you frame the argument. She said that, okay, their registration has been cancelled retrospectively, but where is my mistake? Because when I made a purchase, their registration were active and I had downloaded their registration certificate from departmental website. I had made payment through banking channel. They had filed their returns. That is why this was visible in GSTR 2A. And once it was visible in GSTR 2A, I don't have any presumption that their registration would be going to cancel later on. Last, even in the notice or in the order, department has not levied even allegation of connivance and collusion between supplier and the recipient. High Court said yes, because these transactions seems to be genuine. Therefore, ITC cannot be denied. Similarly, we have LGW Industries. In this case, department levied allegation that you have shown supplies from non-existing supplier, and those supplier were so bogus that their bank accounts were opened on the basis of fake documents. And you have not verified the genuineness of the parties. Whenever we deal with any party, we check their GST registration number, we receive supplies, we make them payment. We do not go and check who is signatory authority. We do not check who is their signing authority in their bank account. We do not go and check. What all documents we check that whether their GST registration is valid or not, whether the party would be able to deliver me goods. We do have purchase order. Uh, oh, we do have invoice. Let's say invoice, e-invoice, e-way bill, weighing slip, toll charges which are they paid during receipt of goods or movement of goods. That all we usually check. We do not. We have and in your case also, you would have never asked your vendor to provide lists of signatory authority. Who is signing signatory authority in their bank account? No, we don't check it. They're not required also. We don't check it. So this has to be checked. So in eligible industries also, Calcutta High Court said no, you are not. Then in recently Gargo traders. So in eligible industries, they said that ITC would be allowed as per documents. You go and check the documents. In Gargo traders also, it was similar case where the department levied allegation the supplier were fake, and they said that their uh, documents were fake for opening a bank account. But again, the question is whether we are required to check who is signatory authority. The answer is no. And department again, what happened in Sanchita Kundu? Department never levied an allegation of collusion and connivance between the supplier and the recipient. So when there is no allegation of collusion and connivance, how can you deny my ITC? No. Court said no. Go and check their document. Merely cancellation of registration is not a ground. There are other cases of IDT error. Interesting case of DY Bithar, where High Court of Madras has said to, in this case, a firm DY Bithal received supplies from some party which were found bogus later on, and department tried to recover money from DY Bithal Enterprises. So DY Bithal argued that why direct recovery is made on me. Instead, the recovery should have been made from the party whom I had made the payment, who is the actual criminal, who have run away with the money of the department. Court said yes, without trying to recover money from actual criminal, in this case the seller or the vendor, because DY Bithal has made payment through banking channels to that party. So department should have tried to recover money from them. There are cases where department has levied the allegation that your supplier has never made payment, and later on their registration is cancelled. They had not filed their returns. These would be more cases in 1718. Now, how to handle this? If you had made payment through banking channels and your party, your supplier has not made payment to department on what we say through banking channels, then where is your mistake? Where is your mistake? So in these cases, what you have to do, you have to use case laws from IDT era. See, you will not get case laws from GST era because this is a new dispute. The case laws for this would come later on. The question still remains whether these case laws could be imported from IDT era to GST era, whether they have any relevance or not. So let's understand this. So in case of on-quest merchandising, so the, so this case law is of on-quest merchandising and Arise India. Few magazines or e-text library have mentioned as Arise India. Few have mentioned as on-quest merchandising, but both are same. So similar were the provisions in Delhi VAT Act, where ITC was not allowed, to the chain of supplier. So the argument before Honorable High Court of Delhi was whether ITC can be denied without independent investigation and without proving any collusion and connivance between the supplier and the recipient. Delhi High Court said no. ITC would be allowed as per the tax invoices. Either you prove connivance and collusion or you allow them ITC. If you want to deny them ITC, you have to prove, you have to investigate each and every case. You have to prove collusion and connivance, then only you can reject the ITC. Arise India. They said that you should try to recover money from the selling dealer, not from the purchasing dealer who is not at any fault. Gedulal Balchand, a celebrated judgment of Punjab and Haryana High Court. Best thing that this judgment recognize that law should distinguish between honest and dishonest dealer. And you cannot cast unnecessary responsibility on the person to run from pillar to post to prove his innocence or prove his claim. The question in this case was through forms and validity and correctness of the form. They said no. Once a form is submitted, unless you prove that form were received through bogus ways, fake ways, then it could be. Otherwise, they are allowed. Now, ITC availed beyond time limit 16.4. The last issue which is most problematic before everyone is that how to handle these cases. Extremely difficult to handle case on this. And this would be the last discussion for today. Then we will take care of question answers. So the background is that GST law provided initially the correct mechanism to claim credit and share your output tax liability. We were required to file GSTR 1, 2, and 3. You were required to file 1 and 2, and 3 was to be auto-populated. But due to certain issues, we kept on filing only GSTR 1. And 3B came as a stopgap arrangement. Instead of stopgap arrangement going back, we never got GSTR 3 and 3B became permanent. So the last date to claim ITC was September of next financial year, which was extended to November. The problem is if we miss this. What about vested right? So vested right as per Article 300 capital A means that the right which you have accrued through following certain conditions. So Section 16.1 and 16.2 provides you eligibility to claim ITC, and that is always subjective, that you fulfill these conditions, that you had paid taxes, you have received goods and services or both, you have a tax invoice, tax has been paid to the government, and you have filed your return. Later on, it is now the amount should be visible in your GSTR to be. So the Article 300 capital A says, no person shall be deprived of his property save by authority of the. So person here means in context of GST, person is the registered person, the taxpayer, property is ITC. Deprived means restriction under section 16 subsection 4 authority of the law, whether the law can give a mandate to restrict your time period. This is the basic question. Now, in one of the judgments, this is a very old judgment, Honorable Supreme Court has said that if you are coming with stringent restriction, then they become unreasonable. And business and non-following of such restriction is a genuine ground. So if we come to GST laws, what I feel that this is an over-regulated law. Everything is regulated from ITC to claim and everything. Over-regulation has come. So in one of the judgment of excise era, Honorable Supreme Court in Eicher Motors in 99 said that right of Senvet credit or tax credit is accrued till good excess. In one of the judgment in Daiichi Karkarian same year, Supreme Court said that right is indefeasible. Whatever happens later on, right is indefeasible. But in 2018, Bombay High Court said no. For standard credit, restrictions can be imposed, and these are not arbitrary. These are not in violation of Article 14 or Article 19 1G. Article 14 is about what we say equality before law, and 19 1G is about uh, right to trade or right to business. So this is a Tamil Nadu VAT judgment. Whatever is 16.4 for us now in GST, same was the 19 section 19 subsection 20 for Tamil Nadu VAT. And in that case, court said that ITC is a concession provided. It's not your right, it is a concession provided. See, GST is again what I'm saying, not an old bottle, oh sorry, old wine in new bottle. But we have to understand that. Recently in ALD Automotive, they said no, ITC is basically a benefit or concession provided to you. Now we come to GST judgments on this. They said that ITC, Calcutta High Court has said ITC is not your matter of right, it's a benefit and concession. And because it is benefit or concession, it can be restricted. In Jain Brothers, they said that 16.4 is neither violative of Article 14, nor 19 1G, nor 300 capital A. No. Everything is perfect. Andhra Pradesh High Court said no. Everything is perfect. Merely because you have paid late fees, you don't get a right to claim credit. I do not agree with this judgment. I have reservations in principle. When we understand what we understand about late fees, why do we pay late fees? Basic understanding about payment of the late fees is that after payment of the late fees, the defect is regularized. See, interest is always in compensatory nature. Because I had delayed the payment, I am paying interest. That is compensatory nature. But why I am paying late fees? To regularize the defect. And if they are saying, no, even after payment of late fees, your defect is not regularized, then I need to understand the law again. Honorable Patna High Court in Gominda Construction rejected it. That Article 300A can only be invoked by a person. Now, I don't know whether the judgment would have changed if it was for uh, it was for by an individual for proprietorship concern. They said that 16.4 is not uh, against the spirit of 300 capital, which I don't agree. We have got only one judgment in favor. We said that 3B is not the correct mechanism to claim credit. The credit should have been claimed either by through GSTR2, which is non-function. Therefore, there is no problem in allowing credit, and this is the only judgment in favor of section 16 subsection 4. Latest judgment of December 2023. In my view, this should be challenged, and I expect a relief from Honorable Supreme Court in case of section 16 subsection 4. That is my personal opinion. So our discussion from my side is over, so we can take the case laws.
Thank you so much, sir. My voice is audible, na? So I can take up the question which is being asked on the YouTube. First of all,
Yes, sir.
sir, मैं क्वेश्चन लेना चाहूंगा नितिन शर्मा जी का. मैं दो जस्ट ब्रीफ बताना चाहूंगा. नितिन शर्मा जी, डेफिनेटली देयर आर वेरियस फॉलोवर ऑफ योर्स, बट उनमें से एक
तो
नितिन
मैं
शर्मा
नितिन
जी
जी
हैं
को
जो हमारे
जानता, सर, I
जानता
know,
भी है,
I know.
एंड
I
ही इज द
have
मेन ऑथर
full
ऑफ द बुक.
respect. Sir, I
ही
have
इज द
full
मेन
respect
ऑथर
to
ऑफ
him. I know उनसे एक दो बार LinkedIn पर chat हुई है. I don't know whether he remembers that we had chat on LinkedIn or not.
सर.
And in fact,
ही
I
नोज
think
ही नोज
I
सर.
think we had once we had chat on Twitter also. So I know Nitin Sharma ji, who he is.
ओके.
वो भूल गए होंगे मुझे, but मुझे अच्छे से याद है who he is. And मैं उनकी पोस्ट को बड़े अच्छे से फॉलो करता हूँ जी.
जिस किताब का आप जिक्र कर रहे थे वो मेन ऑथर है सपोर्टर पूजा मैडम, और मैं तो खाली नाम के लिए हूँ सर. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई लाइक टू टेक द क्वेश्चन ऑफ नितिन जी ओनली, जो उन्होंने कल पूछा था. प्रोबेबली ही विल नॉट बी एबल टू आस्क. तो एक सर 73 में ऑर्डर इश्यू हुआ. नाउ ही इज सेइंग दैट 78 का जो प्रोवाइजो है, जहां पे उनको लगता है कि वो टाइम लिमिट कम कर सकते हैं रेवेन्यू के इंटरेस्ट के कारण. अब नॉर्मल
73
अपील
में
78 में, हाँ, वो कहते हैं कि सर कि 73 में मान लो कोई ऑर्डर इश्यू हुआ एंड नॉर्मली टाइम लिमिट विल बी 3 मंथ फॉर मेकिंग द अपील एटसेट्रा, और उस टाइम वो रिकवरी भी नहीं करेंगे. नाउ मीनवाइल अगर वो 78 का कोई ऑर्डर इश्यू कर दें या 79 का ऑर्डर इश्यू कर दें, तो 78 का प्रोवाइजो शायद ये कहता है कि सर कि वो टाइम लिमिट को कम कर सकते हैं.
ऐसे तो सारे केसेस में टाइम लिमिट कम कर दो.
करेक्ट.
आज ऑर्डर इशू करो, कल सुबह रिकवरी कर दो. ये कोई बात थोड़ी हुई. देयर शुड बी रीजंस ऑन रिकॉर्ड. और अगर ऐसा करना है तो बेस्ट जजमेंट असेसमेंट में आओ, प्रोविजनल असेसमेंट में आओ. वो कौन सा एक और है जजमेंट, प्रोविजनली कुछ एक और होता है इन द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द रेवेन्यू, उसमें आओ सर, जिसमें वो होता है कि भाई आदमी पैसे लेके
जी जी सर, जी सर, जी सर.
तो ऐसे नहीं सर, ये कहने की बात नहीं होती. दैट इज टोटली रॉन्ग. मन थोड़ी है.
ओके ओके सर, ओके सर.
एवरी शॉर्ट सर देखो, every short payment is not linked with fraud cases. There could be genuine reasons where I have not paid taxes. There could
Correct.
be interpretation issues also. So ऐसे तो सर हर केस में ऐसे अलाउ कर दिया तो हर केस में ये ऑर्डर पास करेंगे और कल सुबह रिकवरी कर लेंगे. नो, आई हैव अ राइट. दैट इज अ स्टैट्यूटरी राइट फॉर माय 3 months प्लस 1 month. आई विल फाइल एन अपील. आपको करना है, आप अलग से आइए. नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल.
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है उमंग गुप्ता जी का. अपील में जो अमेंस्टी स्कीम है, वी कंपल्सरी नीड टू डिपॉजिट 12.5% इन एवरी केस.
यस सर, 12.5%, 10% इज योर चॉइस, कैश और आईटीसी. 2.5% इज थ्रू कैश. और वो तो स्कीम 31 जनवरी को भी खत्म हो गई.
हाँ. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन उन्होंने पूछा, एज यू क्लैरिफाई दैट वी कैन डिपॉजिट pre-deposit amount within 3 months, how can we pay the same after filing the appeal by DRC03 or any other mode?
DRC03. Whatever you voluntarily accept, it is DRC03.
Okay. Next question, sir. Srinivasan sir का है. One of the key member of educating for handling the query. Admitted tax to be paid by DRC03 or to be paid against the demand uploaded on the portal by way of DRC07 to that extent.
So against the deport DRC07 के against जो आप पे करोगे, that will be DRC07.
तो जो 10% प्री डिपॉजिट वाला जो इन्होंने कहा, नहीं सॉरी,
वो भी उसी वो
Okay,
डीआर
okay.
वो दैट यू विल बी पे जब
Okay.
आप अपील फाइल करने जाते हो पोर्टल पर,
Right,
तो
sir,
वहाँ
right, sir.
ऑप्शन आता
Right,
है
sir.
दैट व्हाट इज द डिस्प्यूटेड टैक्स, और उसका 10% पर आप आगे जाते हो. दैट अलाउस यू दैट दिस इज योर बैलेंस इन आईटीसी, दिस इज योर बैलेंस इन कैश लेजर, एंड देन यू कैन चूज आईटीसी और कैश लेजर. ओके,
Okay, sir.
वो
Okay,
पे
okay.
करके DRC03 फाइल मत कर देना 10% पे करके, वरना फिर दोबारा पे करना पड़ेगा.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay?
Last question for the day. Is there any time limit for issuance of the ASMT 12 where PH is before submission of the document? Will that be counted as something done as no of adjournment where no submission was made?
मैं बताता हूँ. See, whenever you receive such notice, let's say in SMT 10 it has come, and it says that personal hearing is before submission of reply. First thing, submit a letter with the department that, sir, personal hearing should be after this, or you provide me adjournment of this personal hearing so that I am able to discuss anything. See, unless you file reply or you bring objections on record, you will never be able to discuss anything in personal hearing. Personal hearing will be only a futile exercise. You will go and you will say, sir, I will submit the reply by 10 days or whatever the date is. They will say, okay, sir, thank you. Please sign this. No, you have to, the minute you receive such kind of notice, where personal hearing is before submission of reply, you have to object the validity of the notice with a letter, and at end of the letter you should also write that we reserve the right to challenge this point in later on in our life. In later on, if you don't get a positive reply, go and challenge it in appeal. Okay.
Sir, Nitin ji का ही question है. Last, sorry, allow me to take one more
It's
question.
okay. It's okay.
What
It's
is
okay,
the
sir.
ideal situation of invocation of section 78 by the officer? Is it necessary to follow 78 before recovery under section 79?
So why do you want officer to use 78? Pay
Sometimes they have
10%
used.
file.
Okay, okay, okay.
अरे सर, वो तो कुछ भी कर लेते हैं सर. वो तो कल को सुबह को आपका बैंक अकाउंट वैसे भी ब्लॉक कर देंगे. तो दैट इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग. ही इज एन एडवोकेट, ही विल चैलेंज इट इन हाई कोर्ट. नितिन सर पे पूरा भरोसा है. ही विल फाइंड वेज टू. सर डिपार्टमेंट ऑफिसर, देयर आर few officers who do not follow the law, and for various reasons they don't agree with the law position and they violate the law, or they interpret the law in the name of interest of the revenue. So that is not correct. All such cases should be objected. See, we have 3+1 month time. Ideally, department should wait not for 3 months but for 4 months before starting a recovery. 73 में ऐसा क्या हो गया जो रिकवरी के लिए आज मरे जा रहे हैं? कोई इन्वेस्टिगेशन थोड़ी हुई है कि आदमी पैसे लेकर भाग जाएगा. इट्स नॉट दैट वे. So it is a routine process. 73, 74, ASMT 10, which is section 61, ASMT 12, these are normal cases. इनमें कोई बहुत बड़ा कुछ तूफान नहीं आ रहा. So don't agree with, I don't agree with any of these things. So भाई उन्होंने इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर दी, किसी के घर सर्च मार दी, किसी के ऑफिस में सर्च मार दी, तब तो उन्हें कुछ ऐसा मिल गया.
करेक्ट सर.
कि भाई भी कोई आदमी कुछ चोरी कर रहा था, पैसे जमा नहीं कर रहा, तो उसमें तो वो वहां से निकलते ही नहीं जब तक आप पैसे जमा नहीं करते. दे डोंट लीव अनलेस यू पे. whatever
Thank
might be the guideline कुछ भी कहें कि भाई अगले दिन पेमेंट करा दो, उस दिन पेमेंट मत करो, they have come with guideline I think in May June 2022, जून में या जुलाई में गाइडलाइन आई हुई है, इंस्ट्रक्शन नंबर 4 है शायद,
सर
कोई फॉलो थोड़ी करता है उनको।
जी।
तो
So
वो केस है तो ठीक है, अदरवाइज 73 74 में ऐसी क्या फत आ गई, यू कांट कम।
so now
Okay.
so we come to the end of the sessions. So first of all सर, जिस तरीके से आपने एक्सप्लेन किया, that was really calm and cool तरीके से एक्सप्लेन किया। सबसे अच्छी बात, टैक्स पेयर को ये समझाया जो आपने कि आप जिसके अगेंस्ट में अपील करने जा रहे हैं उसको भी आप उसके फेथ में लेके अपील करें, ताकि उसके ब्लेम और जो भी सारे प्रेज हैं वो सभी उसी के अकाउंट में हो। दैट वाज रियली ग्रेट थिंग विच वी नीड टू लर्न, एंड थैंकिंग सो मच सर। सॉरी मैं कैमरा ऑन नहीं कर पाया, आई एम एक्सट्रीमली सॉरी बिकॉज
ओके ओके, नितिन सर को आज मैं पहली बार देख लिया सर, ये बहुत है।
नहीं सर। सो ग्रेट। तो नितिन सर हमारे
थैंक यू सर।
एडुकेटिंग के सपोर्टर और वो जो किताब के मेन सोर्स ऑफ वो जो ऑथर हैं, एंड
पता है सर, आपका फॉरवर्ड है, पर मैं आपकी किताब मानता हूँ।
नहीं सर। थैंक यू सर। ओके सर, सर विल मीट सून, सर। थैंक यू सर। थैंक यू। ओके ओके।